Before beginning to install your Daytime Bright Lights Forward Edge LED Daytime Running Light Kit, be sure to take an inventory. Should have two daytime running lights, a passenger side and a driver's side, controller box with wire harnesses, wire ties, and an assortment of quick tap snap-on splice connectors. That's our standard kit. Then we also have an optional courtesy light wire adapter to connect in order to make the lights operate when the engine is off, as it does with the stock lights. When you open and close the doors or lock and unlock the doors with your key fob, our DRLs will come on and off as they do with the stock lights. First step is to remove the negative battery terminal to make sure that we don't have any issues with shorting out the system. It just protects the electrical systems of the car. Just remove that and then you can begin. The next step is to spread out the wire harness so that all the plugs and connectors are where they need to be. The controller will be located up in the corner above the fuse box near the on top of the strut mount. One of the wires, DRL wires, is longer and has a yellow trigger wire. That's the turn signal trigger wire. That one will go to the passenger side. The wire that has the plug and two trigger wires, an orange trigger wire, which will go to the driver's side turn signal, and a white trigger wire that will go to the headlight power wire to trigger the dimming of the daytime running lights. This will go obviously on the driver's side. What you'll want to do is take the driver's side plug, daytime running light plug, and you want to feed it down so that it goes down into the cavity behind the bumper, so that it can plug into the daytime running light on the driver's side. After removing the original daytime running light, OEM accent light, take your passenger or driver's side daytime running light, insert it into the opening, slide it in, take the two clips that you had taken out from the stock accent light, and press them on to the blades of the bumper and the new daytime running light. When that's secure, take and plug in the wire harness wire that you had fed down take the wire and plug from our controller box for the driver's side DRL, plug it in to the plug coming from the daytime running light until you hear it snap. Make sure it's good and secure. And then for those edge owners that had the original accent lights, take the OEM plug and plug it into the dummy opening in our daytime running light, and it'll snap in, and that'll allow the plug to keep from having any kind of water or moisture or anything like that. When you're finished plugging in the new daytime running light, take the stock plug from the accent light that came with the vehicle, if it's so equipped, and plug it into the dummy plug on the back of our light, our daytime running light. This will keep any kind of water or any kind of corrosive materials out of it, keep it nice and safe so it'll. When you're finished plugging in the daytime running light, take the stock plug, if your edge came with the factory accent lights, and plug it into the dummy plug on the back of our light. This will keep any water from getting into the plug and keep it from corroding and be good. After connecting the DRL to the controller wire plug, take the stock plug, if your edge came with the stock accent lights, take that plug and plug it into the dummy plug in the back of our daytime running light. That'll allow the plug to be clean and away from any corrosive or moisture. Once you're finished connecting the plug for the daytime running light and the controller, take the stock plug from your edge, if it came with the accent lights from the factory, plug it into the back of our dummy plug, and that will keep the plug from corroding or getting any kind of moisture or salt or anything inside of it while it's not being used. Take one of the wire ties that came with the kit and wire tie the stock light and the new daytime running light wire harness. Wire tie it together to keep it from rattling around. Using a 7/32 inch socket or a pair of pliers or a crescent wrench or anything like that, remove the 3 screws that attach the wheel well liner to the front bumper. When you're finished, you can pull it back. It's flexible enough to get to the back of the light. feed the daytime running light wire from the passenger side up through the opening inside the light, or inside the engine compartment. Feed the wire and plug behind the coolant reservoir. The controller wire harness, plug and wire. Make sure you run it underneath this hose here. Connect the plugs together. Run the yellow turn signal trigger wire, again, back behind the coolant reservoir harness, or reservoir, and allow it to sit up top for now. Now it's time to connect the passenger side turn signal trigger wire coming from the control box. It's a yellow wire. What you'll do is you'll quarter turn the bulb socket for the turn signal, pull out the light. You'll notice there's a tab end and a round turned end on the bulb socket. What you'll do is the round end side, the third wire, that wire, this one doesn't have the same factory color purple and yellow wire that you'll have on your car, but just so that you know, it is the wire closest to the curved portion of this socket. What you'll do is you'll take one of the splice connectors that we have, you'll insert it, slide it around that wire. Okay, so you'll see that it's perfectly nestled inside that one opening of the splice connector. You'll take the trigger wire, slide it into the opening of that splice connector until it goes all the way up and stops. You'll take your pair of pliers and this metal blade in the tab connector, you'll squeeze with a pair of pliers until it's completely seated. That will engage the yellow wire onto that turn signal wire and make that electrical connection. When you're finished squeezing that on, snap over the plastic cover, insert it back into the bulb opening in the headlight, quarter turn, and you're done. You'll do the same thing with the driver's side turn signal, quarter turn, pull the bulb and socket out. Again, you'll use the wire that's closest to the curved portion of the bulb socket. You'll take the orange trigger wire from the controller and, using the same supplied quick splice connector, you'll connect to that same wire, insert the orange wire, crimp it down with the pliers, and you have a good connection. When you're finished, reinsert the bulb, quarter turn, and you're good to go. Just under the headlight dust cover, there is a plug and wire harness. That's the headlight main plug harness. Push down on the tab and pull out. you'll have the connector faced in this direction. Now it's time to connect the white headlight dimming trigger wire to the headlights. What you'll do on the driver's side plug, it's located below the headlight dust cover. Push down, pull it out, and you'll notice the inside of the plug, you'll go with the top right hand contact. That's the wire that you want to be able to tap into. So look at the connector on the front, find the corresponding wire on the back using the quick tap connector that's supplied with the kit. Connect the white wire from the controller box to that upper right hand wire, and now you'll have control automatically with dimming the headlights with the headlight switch and auto switch. Once you have all the trigger wires connected and the DRLs plugged in, it's now time to attach the positive battery terminal plug from the controller. What you'll do is you'll unscrew one of the accessory terminals slightly, slide it in underneath the head of the screw or the bolt, tighten down. You'll do the same on the negative battery terminal when it's time to reconnect it to the battery. Then you will have the fuse adapter trigger wire that will go into the fuse box that allows for the daytime running lights to operate automatically when the engine is turned on. There are 3 fuse slots in the fuse box compartment. Please refer to your written directions for the specific ones that will be used. What you do is, whichever one you're looking at replacing, you'll take a pair of pliers, or if you have a fuse puller, pull that corresponding fuse out on our fuse adapter wire. On the fuse adapter, you'll take the fuse that you pulled out of the correct spot in the fuse box, and you'll slide it into the opening in our fuse adapter. Press it in slightly. It's going to be difficult to put in. Slide it in so it's engaged, then take it on a flat surface, push down all the way until it's fully engaged. Then route the wire around to this side of the fuse box, find the slot that the fuse that you pulled out, and slide that back in. Then take your cover, reinsert it, push down. The fuse adapter is going to sit up a little higher than the normal fuses do, so it's going to be a little hard to push down on the cover, but it will engage. Just press down and it will engage. The wire will set off to the side and it's perfect, good to go. Okay, so now we've reinserted the negative battery terminal onto the battery. Slide in the negative wire from our controller. Tighten down. Now it's time to test the lights. before doing any kind of wire ties, you want to make sure that the kit is running properly. So be sure to check before you start wire tying and fastening the controller box to the shock tower. Our controller comes with 2 strips of 2-face 3M high temperature tape. Peel off the red portions of the outer surface of the tape. Make sure all of your wires are neatly wrapped around the box. Slide it between the 2 stud bolts that are on the shock tower and press firmly. Before you do this, make sure you use some rubbing alcohol to wipe down the surfaces of the shock tower to make sure you have a good solid contact and the controller will not move once it's in place. When you're finished, you can now route your cables around the fuse box. Make sure you use your supplied wire ties to fasten everything down. Run the wire to the passenger side along the back of the engine compartment. And again, making sure all connections are tied down with the wire ties.